Hi, this is Howie from Prime Your Pump, entertaining and actionable self improvement. And today's lesson is about teaching you how to learn more effectively and more efficiently. And one of the best methods to learn something is to learn it by teaching it. And there's a lot of research that shows that if you teach something, you learn it much better than otherwise. And to add to this, there's an old joke. Two professors are walking down the street, and they're both mathematicians. And one of the professors says, "Do you know anything about Hessian matrices?" And which is a math term. And the other professor said, "No, I haven't taught it yet." So among the professorate, okay, of the world, I think you'll find that they'll pretty much all agree that the best way to learn something is by teaching it, because you're forced to ask yourself, all kinds of stuff. So, and it's interesting that people who learn to pass a test learn far less than people who learn to teach it, because when you learn to teach it, you have to actually answer questions. And that's the most important part of teaching. It's not conveying the information, it's about answering the questions. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the section now on use it, lose it, or make it actionable. So, number one, first, you want to decide what you want to learn, all right? And you're going to do it through teaching somebody. It could be a class, it could be your kid, it could be, anybody. Okay, figure out what you don't know about the subject and fill in the missing blanks so when you teach it, you can teach it effectively. Find your student or students. Once again, it may be your kid, you're helping him or her with math or English or whatever, Spanish, okay, Chinese, Hindi, whatever. Okay, and think about the questions that they might ask you so you can be prepared for them. And teaching is really all about the questions. And there's a story that I absolutely love about this that makes the point really, really well. There was a very famous consultant in New York who used to fly to Chicago every month, okay, to talk to the Federal Reserve Board of Chicago, all right, about policies and procedures. He was a very, very famous professor in the finance area. And he was picked up by the same chauffeur, okay, every time at the Chicago airport. He took him to the session, okay, and then took him back to the airport. And he did this for 20 years, okay, 12 times. So he did this 240 times. And on the 241st time, they're driving there. They were very, very friendly at this point, the chauffeur says, it's just not fair. I get paid $20 an hour, and you get paid $20,000 for your 1 hour talk. And it just doesn't seem fair to me, because I could deliver your talk, word for word, every pause, everything. So the consultant said to the chauffeur, I'll tell you what, let's test it out. Let's switch clothes, all right, because it's a new audience every time. And they get there, and the chauffeur goes up on stage, and the consultant sits all the way in the back where the chauffeur usually sits. And the chauffeur gives this presentation. He nails it. Every exclamation, every pause, perfect, 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 perfect. And then there's this geeky guy in the first row with like a pocket protector. Not that there's anything wrong with pocket protectors, but they've been associated with geekiness for a while, so I'll just say with a pocket protector. And he asked this question that is so complicated. So what the chauffeur says is, every time I give this lecture, I get asked the same stupid question that you got asked. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it that I'm going to let my chauffeur in the back of the room answer it. And that, my friends, is why teaching is all about not only knowing the material, but being able to answer questions about the material. And when should you use it? whenever you want to learn something. All right, if you really want to learn it to teach it. And then you'll know it, because then it'll be yours. And over the years, you'll find you'll acquire stories like I have, that you take a theory or a point you want to make and you add a story to it or multiple stories, and it makes it pop. It makes it come alive. It's a great way to learn through teaching. So what do you think? So if you want to teach somebody else, okay, if you've ever learned something while teaching or tutoring or training someone, post your comments below and let us know what you think about it. And that's all for this week, but until next week, remember to read the rest of our blog posts and share them. And if you like them, click like. And also remember to subscribe to our weekly newsletter. And until next week, remember, prime your pump.